Chapter 4 Materials, Metals and Non-Metals. You are familiar with the number of materials like iron, aluminium, copper, etc. Some materials have been given in Table 4.1. Appearance and hardness of materials. Object or material: iron, coal, sulfur, aluminium, copper. Here in the table, the next column is appearance, shiny or dull, hardness, very hard or not very hard. Can you name the materials which are metals? The rest of the materials in table 4.1 are non-metals. Metals can be distinguished from non-metals on the basis of their physical and chemical properties. Recall that luster and hardness are physical properties. Physical properties of metals and non-metals. Have you ever seen a blacksmith beating an iron piece or an article made up of iron like a spade, a shovel, an axe? Do you find a change in the shape of these articles on beating? Would you expect a similar change if we tried to beat a piece of coal? Let us find out. Activity 4.1. Take a small iron nail, a coal piece, a piece of thick aluminium wire and a pencil lead. Beat the iron nail with a hammer. But take care that you don't hurt yourself in the process. Try to hit hard. Hit hard. The aluminium wire also. Then repeat the same kind of treatment on the coal piece and pencil lead. Record your observations in table 4.2. Table 4.2. Object or material: iron, nail, coal piece, aluminium wire, pencil lead. Next column: change in shape, flattens or breaks into pieces. You saw that the shape of the iron nail and the aluminium wire changed on beating. If they were beaten harder, these could be changed into sheets. You might be familiar with silver foil used for decorating sweets. You must also be familiar with the aluminium foil used for wrapping food. The property of metals by which they can be beaten into thin sheets is called malleability. This is a characteristic property of metals. As you must have noticed, materials like coal and pencil lead do not show this property. Can we call these metals? Can you hold a hot metallic pan which is without a plastic or a wooden handle and not get hurt? Perhaps not. Why? Try to list some other experiences in which a wooden or plastic handle protects you from being hurt while handling hot things. On the basis of these experiences, what can you say about the conduction of heat by wood and plastic? You must have seen an electrician using this screwdriver. What kind of handle does it have? Why? Let us find out. Recall how to make an electric circuit to test whether electricity can pass through an object or not. Figure 4.2. You might have performed the activity with various objects in class 6. Now repeat the activity with the materials mentioned in table 4.3. Observe and group these materials into good conductors and poor conductors. Table 4.3. Electrical conductivity of materials. Serial number 1. Materials: iron rod, nail, sulfur, coal piece, copper wire. Another column, good conductor or poor conductor. You observe that iron rod, nail and copper wire are good conductors, while rolled sulfur piece and a coal piece are poor conductors. Where do you find the use of aluminium and copper wires? Have you seen wires of coal? Definitely not. The property of metal by which it can be drawn into wires is called ductility. Have you ever noticed the difference in sound on dropping an iron sheet or plate, a metal coin and a piece of coal on the floor? If not, you can try it now. Do you note any difference in the sound produced? Have you seen wooden bells in temples? Can you give a reason? The things made of metals produce the ringing sound when struck hard. Suppose you have two boxes similar in appearance, one made of wood and the other of metal. Can you tell which box is made of metal by striking both the boxes? Since metals produce ringing sounds, they are said to be sonorous. The materials other than metals are not sonorous. After performing the above activities, we can say that some materials are hard, lustrous, malleable, ductile, sonorous, and good conductors of heat and electricity. The materials which generally possess these properties are called metals. The examples of metals are iron, copper, aluminium, calcium, magnesium, etc. In contrast, materials like coal and sulfur are soft and dull in appearance. They break down into a powdery mass on tapping with a hammer. They are not sonorous and are poor conductors of heat and electricity. These materials are called non-metals. The examples of non-metals are sulfur, carbon, oxygen, phosphorus, etc. Metals like sodium and potassium are soft and can be cut with a knife. Mercury is the only metal which is found in liquid state at room temperature. These are exceptions. 4.2 Chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Reaction with oxygen. You are familiar with the phenomenon of rusting of iron. Recall the reaction by which rust is formed. You had also performed in class 7 an activity of burning a magnesium ribbon in air. You had learned that in both the processes oxide formation takes place. Complete the following reactions of iron and magnesium with oxygen. Iron Fe plus oxygen O2 plus water H2O gives out magnesium Mg plus oxygen O2 gives out. Activity 4.3. Let us check the nature of rust formed as a result of the reaction between iron, oxygen and water. Collect a spoonful of rust and dissolve it in a very little amount of water. You will find that the rust remains suspended in water. Shake the suspension well. Test the solution with red and blue litmus papers. What do you observe? Is the solution acidic or basic? When a copper vessel is exposed to moist air for long, it acquires a dull green coating. The green material is a mixture of copper hydroxide CuOH2 and copper carbonate CuCO3. The following is the reaction. 2Cu plus H2O plus CO2 plus O2 gives out CuOH2 plus CO3. When H2O plus CO2 combines, it gives out moist air. Now recall the activity of burning magnesium ribbon. The ash obtained on burning magnesium ribbon is dissolved in water and tested for its acidic or basic nature. Is the solution acidic or basic? How do you ascertain this? You must have observed that the red litmus turns blue. So, oxide of magnesium is also basic in nature. In general, metallic oxides are basic in nature. Let us now observe the reaction of non-metals with oxygen. Activity 4.4. Take a small amount of powdered sulfur in a deflagrating spoon and heat it. If deflagrating spoon is not available, you may take a metallic cap of any bottle and wrap a metallic wire around it and give it the shape shown in figure 4.4a. As soon as sulfur starts burning, introduce the spoon into a gas jar or gas tumbler, figure 4.4a. Cover the tumbler with a lid to ensure that the gas produced does not escape. Remove the spoon after some time, add a small quantity of water into the tumbler and quickly replace the lid. Shake the tumbler well. Check the solution with red and blue litmus papers. Figure 4.4b. Table 4.4. Metals and non-metals in acids and bases. Serial number 1. Calcium hydroxide. Metal calcium. Name of the acid sulfuric acid. Non-metal sulfur. The name of the product formed in the reaction of sulfur and oxygen is sulfur dioxide gas. When sulfur dioxide is dissolved in water, sulfurous acid is formed. The reaction can be given as follows. Sulfur dioxide SO2 plus water H2O gives out sulfurous acid H2SO3. The sulfurous acid turns blue, litmus paper red. Generally, oxides of non-metals are acidic in nature. Recall the name of some of the laboratory acids and bases you have read in class 7. Note down their names in table 4.4. Identify the metal or non-metal present in them which forms oxides with oxygen. Reaction with water. Let us see how metals and non-metals react with water. Sodium metal is very reactive. It reacts vigorously with oxygen and water. A lot of heat is generated in the reaction. It is therefore stored in kerosene. Activity 4.5. Take a 250 ml beaker, glass tumbler, fill half of it with water. Now carefully cut a small piece of sodium metal, dry it using filter paper and wrap it in a small piece of cotton. Put the sodium piece wrapped in cotton into the beaker. Observe carefully. When reaction stops, touch the beaker. What do you feel? Has the beaker become hot? Test the solution with red and blue litmus papers. Is the solution acidic or basic? You observed that sodium reacts vigorously with water. Some other metals do not do so. For example, iron reacts with water slowly. Generally, non-metals do not react with water, though they may be very reactive in air. Such non-metals are stored in water. For example, phosphorus is a very reactive non-metal. It catches fire if exposed to air. To prevent the contact of phosphorus with atmospheric oxygen, it is stored in water. Reactions with acids. Let us see how metals and non-metals behave with acids. Activity 4.6. Take samples of metals and non-metals listed in table 4.5 in separate test tubes and label them as A, B, C, D, E and F. With the help of dropper, add 5 ml of dilute hydrochloric acid to each test tube one by one. Observe the reactions carefully. If no reaction occurs in the cold solution, warm the test tube gently. Bring a burning matchstick near the mouth of each test tube. Repeat the same activity using dilute sulfuric acid instead of the dilute hydrochloric acid. Record your observations in Table 4.5. Table 4.5 Reactions of metals and nonmetals with acids. Test tube label: A. Magnesium, B. Aluminium foil, C. Iron fillings, D. Copper peeled flexible wire, E. Charcoal powder, sulfur powder. Reaction with dilute hydrochloric acid, in that room temperature and warm. Reaction with dilute sulfuric acid, in that room temperature and warm temperature. Is there a difference in the way metals and nonmetals react with acids? What could the pop sound in some cases be due to when a burning matchstick is brought near the mouth of the test tubes? You must have found that nonmetals generally do not react with acids, but metals react with acids and produce hydrogen gas that burns with a pop sound. You must have noticed that copper does not react with dilute hydrochloric acid even on heating, but it reacts with sulfuric acid. Reactions with bases. Prepare a fresh solution of sodium hydroxide in a test tube by dissolving 3-4 pellets of it in 5 ml of water. Drop a piece of aluminium foil into it. Bring a burning matchstick near the mouth of the test tube. Observe carefully. What does the pop sound indicate? As before, the pop sound indicates the presence of hydrogen gas. Metals react with sodium hydroxide to produce hydrogen gas. Reactions of nonmetals with bases are complex. Displacement reactions. Recall the activity of the reaction between copper sulfate and iron that you performed in class 7. Let us observe some more reactions of that kind. Activity 4.8. Take 500 ml beakers and label them A, B, C, D and E. Take about 50 ml of water in each beaker. Dissolve in each beaker a teaspoonful of each substance as indicated in figure 4.6a. Keep the beakers undisturbed for some time. Record your observations in your notebook. What changes do you observe in the various beakers? You have read that one metal displaces another metal from its compound in aqueous solution. In beaker A, zinc Zn replaces copper Cu from copper sulfate CuSO4. That is why the blue color of copper sulfate disappears and a powdery red mass of copper is deposited at the bottom of the beaker. The reaction can be represented as follows. Copper sulfate CuSO4 plus zinc Zn, gives out zinc sulfate ZnSO4 plus copper Cu. You can write down the reaction taking place in beaker B in a similar manner. There could have been displacement zinc by copper in beaker C and by iron in beaker E. Similarly, iron could be displaced by copper in beaker D. Since we do not see any change in beaker C, we can infer that copper is not able to replace zinc from zinc sulfate. But why? When zinc can replace copper in beaker A, why cannot copper replace zinc in beaker C? Remember that science is not arbitrary. It follows definite rules based on facts, and the rule here is that zinc is more reactive than copper and iron. A more reactive metal can replace a less reactive metal, but a less reactive one cannot replace a more reactive metal. Now you can understand why there are no displacement reactions in beakers D and E also. Can you guess the sequence of metals from more reactive to less reactive among zinc, iron and copper? Uses of metals and non-metals. You should be able to guess why metals are used in making machinery, automobiles, aeroplanes, trains, satellites, industrial gadgets, cooking utensils, water boilers, etc. You are also familiar with the uses of some non-metals. Here are some interesting ones. We are sure that you will guess them right. Non-metal is essential for our life, which all living beings inhale during breathing. Non-metals used in fertilizers to enhance the growth of plants. Non-metal used in water purification process. Non-metal used in the purple colored solution which is applied on wounds as an antiseptic. Non-metals used in crackers. You may add some more uses of metals and non-metals from your experiences. Welcome. Is welcome.